Now we have the question, and if you haven't seen this, you should think about it before you look at anything I've done. You have the point 612, and you're asked to find 3 points on a line through 612, provided the line has a slope of 1.5. So what does this mean? Now again, you should think that through, do your best with it before you watch anything, but we got 612, that'll be this point here. Okay. Now, we want to construct a line of slope 1.5. Now, hopefully you didn't look ahead at what I've done, because it isn't right, because we followed the suggestion of a student here who had a pretty good idea, half of a really good idea, but didn't quite get the whole thing. Said, okay, well, just go over 1.5 and up 1.5 from 612. Well, if we do that, we go over 1.5, we start at 6, we go over 1.5 in the positive x direction, we get to 7.5. And from 12, we go 1.5 in the positive y direction, we get 13.5. So that the slope between these 2 points, let's hope the slope comes out to be 1.5. Well, it turns out it doesn't. If we do the rise divided by the run, well, the rise is 1.5, it's 13.5 minus 12 is 1.5, and the run is 7.5 minus 6, which is 1.5, and 1.5 divided by 1.5 is 1. So this is not correct. It's not on the line. So this is not on the line. The slope is not 1.5. So let's give it another try. Now, the next suggestion we had was a very good suggestion. It worked just fine. 1.5 is 3 halves, and for the slope is supposed to be 3 halves. Well, that suggests using a rise of 3 and a run of 2. So let's see how that works. So we have a run of 2 and a rise of 3. Where does that put us? 6 and 2 gives us 8. 12 and 3 gives us 15. And now if we can calculate the slope. 15 minus 12 is 3, as it must be if we did our calculations right here. 8 minus 6 is 2. Rise 3, run 2, rise over run 3 over 2, which is 1.5. So 815 is a point on this line. Okay, now another thing we can do. Somebody suggested just using a run of 1 and a rise of 1.5. That works. If the rise is 1.5 and the run is 1, the slope is 1.5 divided by 1, which is 1.5. If we do that, we go over 1, that gets us from 6 to 7, and we go up 1.5, taking us from 12 to 13.5. And here's a point on our line. Now, one of the 3 points is supposed to be the y-intercept, but yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute. I believe another question says, okay, if one of the points has coordinate 12, then what is that point if it lies on this line? So what I've got here is I've got 12 question mark. 12 with what coordinate puts us on the line? Okay, well, if our x-coordinate is going to be 12, well, the x-coordinate of this point is 6. So that means that starting from this point, our run is going to be 12 minus 6, which is 6. Now, if our run is 6, what rise do we need in order to have a slope of 3 halves or 1.5? Well, rise over run needs to be 3 halves. We're stuck with a run of 6, so the rise is going to be 3 halves times 6, or 9. Now, if we start from 612 and have a rise of 9, where does that put us? Well, 6 with a run of 6 gives us 12, as it must. 12 plus 9 gives us 21. So our point is 12, 21. Now, another question. A point with a coordinate on the y, the coordinates of a point on the y-axis. Okay, on the y-axis, what do we know about the y-axis? Well, somebody came up with it, x equals 0 on the y-axis. So we get the picture here. We've got our point 612, which I've now put here. And of course, 612 is to the right of the y-axis. So we're going to put the y-axis over here someplace and indicate a point on that axis. Now, if we have 612 and a point 0 question mark on the y-axis, because of course on the y-axis x equals 0, so our x-coordinate is 0. So our point in the y-axis will be 0 question mark. What's the question mark? Well, our run from 0 to 6 is 6. 6 minus 0 equals 6. Now, it's just a coincidence that the run here equals the run here. There's no particular reason, but that sort of thing can come up, and there's no relationship between this 6 and this 6. It's just the way the coordinates of the points happen to be. But anyhow, we get a run of 6 here, and we get what rise? Well, we can use the same calculation. It's the same slope, so rise over run is still 3/2, the run is still 6, so the rise is still 9. So the rise from here to here is 9. And I should, since I've kind of cross-labeled things, just make sure that I see that the rise goes from here to here, and indicate that in blue with the blue arrow. Okay. Now, if the rise is 9 and the y-coordinate that we're getting is 12, where do we have to start? Okay, well, this point is below this point by a distance equal to the rise. So 12 minus 9 gives us 3. The point is 0, 3. Some people saw that right away. Some had to think about it a little bit. Okay, then we want a point on the x-axis. Now, the diagram's getting a little cluttered, but I've used yellow for all the calculations that go with finding a point on the x-axis. 0, 3 is still above the x-axis, so the x-axis is going to be somewhat below this point. So I've just extended the line out here to where the x-axis might possibly be. Did try to do that very accurately, and it isn't really very accurate at all as far as the scale, but that doesn't matter. Okay, this point is going to be in the x-axis, so it's going to have y-coordinate 0, so it's going to be something 0. Now, the rise from the x-axis, from the point on the x-axis, up to 12, well, the rise is going to be 12 minus 0. And obviously from the x-axis up to a point with y-coordinate 12, the rise has to be 12. So I've indicated the rise for this triangle, this yellow triangle, to be 12. And then we calculate the run. Well, slope is rise over run 3/2. The rise is now 12, so we've got to find the run. Well, we do a little algebra, multiply both sides by the run, and then multiply both sides by 2/3. We find that the run is 8. So this relationship here requires that the run be 8. So now we know the run is 8 and the rise is 12. We know that the x-coordinate is 0. The run from here up to x-coordinate 6 is 8. So where do we have to start to make a run of 8 and end up at 6? Well, we have to start at -2. So the point on the x-axis is -2, 0. And I've got a statement here. Because the run is 8, rise is 12, a rise of 12. The point is -2, 0 because a run of 8 and a rise of 12 gets us from -2, 0 to 6, 12. Now, we could have come back to our original conditions and found the equation of the line through 612 with a slope of 1.5. And then we could have plugged different x values into that equation and found all these results. Okay, we could have plugged 3 x values into the equation to get 3 points on the graph. We could plug in 12 for y to find the x value to solve the resulting equation. We could plug in 0 for x and find our y value. We could plug in 0 for y and find our x value using that equation. And you should understand very clearly that you could do that using the equation. The intent here, though, was not to solve and get the equation and use the equation. It was to do a little bit of geometric reasoning involving triangles and straight lines in the coordinate plane to get you more used to the concept of straight line and how you can do different things to answer various questions related to straight lines.